भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरञ्जस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकये चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपथकमलं श्रीगुरुन्न वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकास स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादिपाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Canto 7, Chapter 11, verse 25. Shraddha, you have book? Shraddha Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I have it open.
Please read the verse.
Yeah, 1 minute. स्त्रीणां च पतिदेवानां तच्छुश्रूषानुकूलता तद्बन्धुष्वनुवृत्तिश्च नित्यं तद्व्रतधारणम्.
Please read it 3 times.
Okay, Mataji. स्त्रीणां च पतिदेवानां तच्छुश्रूषानुकूलता तद्बन्धुष्वनुवृत्तिश्च नित्यं तद्व्रतधारणम्. स्त्रीणां च पतिदेवानां तच्छुश्रूषानुकूलता तद्बन्धुष्वनुवृत्तिश्च नित्यं तद्व्रतधारणम्.
Translation? Anybody who is there? Sharanya, please read the translation. You have book? Sharanya, do you have book?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, I'm reading Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji 7.11.25 na?
Yes.
To render service to the husband, to be always favorably disposed toward the husband, to be equally well disposed toward the husband's relatives and friends, and to follow the vows of the husband. These are the 4 principles to be followed by women described as chaste.
Parbot, you can continue reading. One paragraph you read, another paragraph. Sunita, you are there? You have book?
Yes, Mataji.
You can. One paragraph you read, Saranya, then Sunita will complete.
Mataji, I'm reading from phone. Only one paragraph I'm seeing, Mataji.
Oh, that much you, oh, okay. Half you read. It is one only. Half, it is big
Okay,
one.
ma'am. Okay.
Half you read, half Sunita letter. Sunita reads.
Purport. It is very important for peaceful householder life that a woman follow the vow of her husband. Any disagreement with the husband's vow will disrupt family life. In this regard, Chanakya Pandita gives a very valuable instruction. Dampatyoha kalaho nasti tatra shreha swayam agatha. When there are no fights between husband and wife, the goddess of fortune automatically comes to the home. A woman's education should be conducted along the lines indicated in this verse. The basic principle for a chaste woman is to be always favorably disposed toward her husband. In the Bhagavad Gita 1.40, it is said, Strishu dushtasu vashneya jayate varna sankaraha. If the women are polluted, there will be Varna Shankara, pollution. In modern terms, the Varna Shankara are the hippies who do not follow any regulative injunctions. Another explanation is that when the population is Varna Shankara, no one can know who is on what platform. The Varnashrama system scientifically divides society into 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. But in Varna Shankara society, there are no such distinctions, and no one can know who is who. In such a society, no one can distinguish between a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, and a Sudra. For peace and happiness in the material world, the Varnashrama institution must be introduced. The symptoms of one's activities must be defined and one must be educated accordingly. Then spiritual advancement will automatically be possible.
Hare Krishna, you completed reading. No problem.
Sorry, Mataji.
No. So, since many days I was thinking about this topic, that we are conducting spiritual classes for ladies, and simultaneously we should educate them how to lead a peaceful family life also. And some devotees are taking guidance from me. So I thought, let me give a class on this, and when somebody needs guidance, I can just record it and forward it. Because this is Shastra, right? So I thought today I will give a class on this topic, how we can lead a peaceful family life as a devotee woman, right? So the rules for women and men, the rules for Matajis and Prabhujis are different. So here Narad Muni is teaching this in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is Apurushaya. So we are all supposed to follow Bhagavatams, right? So that's why whenever we want to educate society, give them some knowledge, give them some guidelines, we have to quote Shastra. Simply if we say that women should be humble, women should be submissive, women should be this, women should be that, people will not be ready to follow it. Even devotee women. Many devotees, they chant, they are good, they practice Krishna consciousness, but they don't follow the Stri Dharma. So there comes some friction. So here guidelines is clearly given for ladies, women. So that's why I took this verse, that what is the duty of a woman? So to render service to the husband, to be always favorably disposed towards the husband, to be equally well disposed towards the husband's relatives and friends, and to follow the vows of the husband. These are all the 4 principles to be followed by women described as chaste. We normally think chastity means only one husband. That is chastity. No, chastity has a deeper meaning. That if we render service to the husband favorably, see, render service to the husband, to be always favorably disposed towards the husband, and well disposed towards his husband's relatives and friends, and follow the vows of the husband. See, when we follow all these things, then only we will be considered as chaste. What will happen if we don't follow? The question arises. So being Indian women, all the devotees here in this class are all are Indian women. We need not, these are all there in our culture. We need not teach or preach. But because nowadays lots of problems happen between husband and wife, and lots of divorces are happening, and many devotees are getting counseling, and then some they don't come for counseling, but we understand that they have problems. So I thought, okay, let me give class. If somebody needs it, just give them an opportunity to listen to this so that they may take some valuable guidelines from this class. That was the thing. And what is my qualification to speak on this subject? One may ask. So my qualification is, throughout my life, I remained humble. I never worked anywhere outside. I worked, but that was before marriage. Whatever is favorable things for the family's welfare, I was following. And I never disobeyed. I disobeyed, arguments were there, but it is not beyond the limits. It is not beyond, it is not under friction or not very big major calamity in our life. This is the qualification I can say that. And also I had another qualification to speak on the subject is that I guide girls, young girls, and get them married. So over a period, I am initiated 24 years. Now I am into Krishna consciousness 26 years. So all these years, I come across with so many couples. I come across with so many family problems. I come across with, I have experience, I can say that with that experience and with the guidance of Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj, I have some qualification to speak on this subject matter. So at least I can guide somebody to tolerate their problems, to go ahead with the problems, and to at least be in the family without going into court, divorce, or make a big fight and make a show off. Or if somebody looks at your family like they spit on it, at least that much I can protect that. I have protected many fighting couples. I guided them, counseled them, directed them, both men and women. I guided them. So with that experience, I thought, okay, let me speak about this. Now, today we will cover only women's part. Not, you may ask why only guidance to women. Here we will speak, guidance to men is also there. Definitely they should also be under some higher guidance. If a man without guidance, without guidance, if a man is without his guru's guidance, then there will also problem will definitely come. Because without clapping two hands, there won't be noise. I agree that equally the other party may also commit mistakes. But here we will focus only on women because I am a woman, and how we can, the 50%, how we can be careful and how with this 50% we can make it 100% safe. So this area we will see, the other area we can see later. So as women, what we have to do from the beginning. You may ask, we are all good devotees. The devotees in this class are really very good, and you are doing a very good family life. That much I know. You may ask, why Mataji you are giving us this class? Because some exemplary ladies are there in this class. This is a general class. If you learn the guidelines, you can guide others. Right? I saw the participants today. All are wonderful ladies. Nothing to do with you because you are already following everything. Already you are all very good family ladies. Here we will discuss. See, please in question, after I speak, you please ask questions. There we will discuss or we will include your comments and guidance also, right? And so why this class means as I am guiding many young couples and already married couples. So for them, we can forward this class. That's why I specifically requested Vaishnavi Mataji to record this class so that this will be useful for others. So as Indian women, from the beginning, we all know the basics that the respect is more respect. In the family, more respect is given to the husband. And a cultured family understand the value of son-in-law, right? Husband, wife is there. Like, for example, I am there, I'm a daughter of some family, and my husband is son-in-law in that family. So the family, as a culture, we all know how we have to respect the son-in-law of the family, right? So from the beginning, I was brought up in this culture that due respect is given to the husband or son-in-law. Why means, you may ask why we are not given respect, why women are not given us. We are also given respect in a different way. How we can get respect is by our behavior, by our proactivity, by our initiative in involving ourselves in family affairs, by adjusting, by tolerating, by taking up the mood of the husband's family, by accepting, by mixing very nicely, by treating them, by taking care of them, by taking care of the husband's family members, by talking to them sweetly. So all these things will gain respect to us. Otherwise, we will be degraded. So our expectation from a woman, for example, a newly married girl is going to the husband's family. What is expected from her? Lots of dowry. Imagine it is a devotee family. Normally, what is expected? She should cook nicely, take care of the husband. That's what is expected. If we don't do this basics, what will happen to the family? This is like, so the girls should be well trained in cooking, cleaning, household works, and sweetly speaking. Mostly problem arises when women becomes materialist. In devotee, we only speak about devotee family, not about any non-devotee family. This lecture is for devotee girls, devotee ladies, devotee matajis, whatever it is. So we see the problems between couple. Why there is no peace? We are chanting 16 rounds. Some girls, they are even initiated before their marriage. So why there is friction? Why there is no proper understanding? Main reasons I have noted down, the reasons, possible reasons. Main reason is we are not properly Krishna conscious. If we are proper devotees, we will understand why problem comes, right? Okay, this is the main root cause of the problem, is that we are not proper devotees. This is the main reason. Okay, this is important reason. Okay, we will go into what do you say? We'll go into other aspects, non-Krishna consciousness, the points in that. So first thing comes is self-centeredness. When a woman becomes self-centered, I want this, I want that, I want comfort, I want my husband to be at the back, always behind me, I want my husband to listen to me, I want my own enjoyment. So when a woman thinks like this, that is self-centeredness, then problem comes. And the second reason is unrealistic expectation. Okay, so I can give my own life example in this unrealistic expectation. That, see, we get into marriage. In that married life, what happens? This is purely arranged by elders, right? We have certain kind of thinking pattern, right? But when you really enter into family life, you see something different. In my family, we speak a lot. All, mother, father, brothers, I myself, all. But I went into a family where they don't speak. They hardly speak. When it is necessary, they speak. So it was like, we belong to same community, same caste. Some even thought that, wow, what, you people look like cousins. Myself, my husband looks similar in facial things, features. So, but for me, it was because they don't speak at all in their family. My mother-in-law, but one thing she told me before my marriage, that we want a speaking girl, because we don't speak. We want a very nicely, sweetly speaking girl. And I like you because of this quality. But when you speak, when there is no response from the opposite, how long will you keep on speaking? But later I understood it is their nature. I cannot force them to change their nature. I identified that my husband hardly speaks. He listens. He is very kind person, very loving person, very caring person, but doesn't want to speak. Then I understood that I should not force him to change his nature. So this is unrealistic expectation. We understand their nature, and according to their nature, we change ourselves. So in my in-laws with all my in-laws families, mother-in-law, father-in-law is no more now, but sister-in-law and brother-in-law and my husband, all the three are same character. Means they don't speak much. So I speak to them whatever they need. And my husband is okay, fine with me, but my sister-in-law and mother-in-law, sister-in-law and brother-in-law, I never speak only. I say Hare Krishna and keep quiet, because he doesn't like speaking at all. With sister-in-law, she likes that I speak to her, and I talk to her about what is happening and all these things. She lovingly hears, but she won't speak much. Yeah, I understood. I don't demand. So with the family, I adjusted that these family members are not going to speak, but as first daughter-in-law, my husband is first, so I need to adjust them and lovingly treat them. This I continued from beginning of my married life. So unrealistic expectation, I don't want to. I never expected them to change their nature. So what we have to do that, but once you get into married life, you understand that certain things cannot be changed. You have to accept it as it is. We have to accept the opposite party. Maybe they are all devotees, but different behavioral patterns may be there. So if you find something different, something odd, you have to accept it. You have to accept it and go ahead with that. Pointing them and want to change it, their problem comes. If you want to change, force, that too, especially men, they don't want to change. You cannot change. If they want, they can. If they want that, okay, I want to change this behavior. So in one more unrealistic expectation, I can say that one of my girl got married to a very angry person. I only arranged this marriage. For everything, even throw words. Till today is like that. For this particular girl, she had to undergo a lot of struggle. And now she learned to tolerate and adjust. In the beginning, she used to also fight back and big things happened. But the thing is, once you understand this is the nature of this person, we have to accept them as they are and adapt accordingly. We should be intelligent. In this way, we should be adaptive. See, women are called as adaptive species. How? I'll tell you. See, if you see again, it's a farming example. If you see in paddy field, paddy, rice. So before, there is a small land where what they do, they sow the seeds of rice, with the husk. They sow, and the plants come very nearby. Bunches they will grow. When they grow this much, they uproot from that place, and then they plant in a big land with some distance. You might have noticed this. So the plant the plants, when they grow uproot from their place and they are planted in other place, it is like survival of the fittest. They have to go there. It's a small sapling, right? It has to survive there and adapt and then grow. So women are like that. Women, we are born in one circumstances, in one family, and at the time of marriage we are removed from that family and placed in entirely different environment, which is new, which is different. If we don't adapt there, then we may die in the sense we may not survive, we will have problems. So from the beginning, women are especially in Indian culture, we are designed like that. You are going. Yes, in my life, I know pakka that I have to go out of this house. Everybody, because I am a woman, I should get married because my mother came from a family to my father's family. So this adaptation should be there in us. If we don't adapt to the husband's family, husband's culture, then again we will not survive. Our family life will not be peaceful. If you are not peaceful, then husband and husband's family members will not be peaceful. So we need to be adaptive. We need to adjust. So I have arranged many different language marriages. Some girls really picked up different language. They speak that language. They adapted their culture, and they are well adjusted into the other culture of their family. Then they are successful. They are accepted in the family, especially if you speak the different family language. You speak one language, your husband's husband speak different family. It is your duty to learn that language as soon as possible. For this, I will give you one example that we went to Paris as a family, and I lived there for 3 years. But because we are devotees and we are busy in preaching, household chores, child, husband, all these things, I went for learning French, but I had no time to do that, and I was not interested because one thing was there in my mind is that anyway we are going to leave. Our aim was only to go and earn some money and come back to India as soon as possible. That was deeply into our mind. So myself, my husband, we didn't learn French. When we left the country after 3 years, in the airport, they were speaking French and we replied in English. They got really angry and they said, you lived here for 3 years. You came here for some purpose, means for job purpose. You were benefited, right? You are benefited, but still you didn't learn this language. This is too bad. They openly said. We kept quiet, but because we are devotees and our time is very precious. And I didn't want to waste my life in learning French because anyway, I'm not going to go there further in my life. So I didn't learn. For 3 years life, we were criticized like that, and it is right criticism. You came here, you had to adapt to our culture, our language. You should learn our language. That was the demand of the French people. That's true. You went there for earning money. Similarly, when you get married, isn't it, you should be very intelligent to learn your husband's language. You should be adaptive, isn't it? You should learn, no? So that by the time your marriage is fixed, and your marriage, how long? Many times it takes 1 year or 6 months or 3 months. 3 months is enough to learn. If you are intelligent, 3 months is enough to learn a language. If you are really dull-headed, 1 year. Nowadays, it is not like before. Nowadays, we have media, we have internet, YouTube videos. So we can easily learn and adapt. It is for your benefit. If you learn your husband's language, my Guru Maharaj always says that if you learn another language, it is a asset. Like if you have 1 crore in your bank balance, it is an asset. Similarly, learning a language is an asset. That to your very close relative is your husband. Then fortunately or unfortunately, you got into a man who speaks a different language, then is it not your duty to learn that language as quickly as possible? It is your duty, right? For example, I speak different languages. So when I came to Gujarat after my marriage, Tamils, they don't speak Hindi properly. But still, the people in Gujarat, they were astonished at this Tamil girl speaking Hindi. It is adaptiveness. So wherever I went, when I speak to Hindi speaking people in Hindi only, however it may be, but I'm okay with Hindi. So I speak in Hindi. So I could get the favor of many friends, many devotees. I was even preaching in Hindi. So I was accepted in that Hindi speaking society. Similarly, I speak little, I understand Telugu. I speak little Telugu. I understand Malayalam. So when I see Telugu people, I speak 1 or 2 Telugu words. They are so happy. Oh, you understand Telugu? Oh, so this is the way that you can please your family members. So if your husband is not speaking your own language, it is your duty to learn that language. Then only you can get the favor. See, these are all adaptive nature. I have seen some girls, they don't speak the husband's language. They speak their own language to insult the mother-in-law, to keep the mother-in-law and father-in-law family away from me, and to show that, I don't like you. This kind of attitudes spread negative energy. And this kind of attitude, Krishna within your heart will see and, avoid accordingly. We should be careful, right? So adamancy, these are all adamancy. So we need to adapt. If we don't adapt, then we are the loser. We are going to lose. We will not understand their feelings, and they will not understand our feelings. Lots of communication gap will be there, and then the gap will increase. So that also brings unhappiness and negative energy in the family. So this is one aspect. And the another aspect is adamancy. So I want this, I want this. Many ladies do that. As soon as they get married and come to the husband's place or mother-in-law's place, their demands start. I don't like this. I want this way. I want to be like this. They don't get adaptive. This is gender. Like if you are a devotee, you always have to wear sari. I have seen some girls. See, I am from North Indian culture. North Indian culture or South Indian culture, devotees dress is sari. When you are not adapting now to wear sari, when will you adapt? When you become 50 years? When you become 60 years? When you get married, it is 25 years, 30 years, right? This is young age. When you become old, devotee dresses sari. In the family, mother-in-law says, oh, your devotee dresses sari. But still, I want to wear non-devotee dress because I am from this culture. What will happen? Again, friction. Anyway, devotees must wear sari, no? So I have seen some girls, some North Indian girls, they don't want to. But the salwar kameez or chudidar is a Muslim dress, for your kind of information. It is a Muslim dress, and if you don't want to do the Muslim dress, there we are going to be devotees, Vaishnavis, right? The small petty things. These are all very. which you can change and be successful in your life. You can easily please, by the way you speak, the way you dress, it matters. So in family area, in family life, petty things makes big thing, and then big fight happens. Another reason why the problem comes is if husband says one thing, okay, like we see in Sati and Shiva's pastime, right? In Sati and Shiva's pastime, what happened? That, taking that an example, we can give some guidelines. So Lord Shiva was not respected in the Sati's family, parental. Sati's father was Daksha. Daksha was very much puffed up, and he didn't understand the great qualities of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is a devotee, Vaishnava, but he always remained humble. Lord Shiva he didn't even have any house to live. Daksha was not happy to give Sati to Lord Shiva, but because there is no one qualified to marry Sati, and Sati and Shiva are eternal, so Lord Brahma intervened and arranged this marriage between Sati and Lord Shiva. So Daksha's habit was always to ridicule Lord Shiva. But the Lord Shiva's followers were angry. In one occasion, there was one big assembly happened. In that assembly, when Lord Brahma came, Daksha stood and gave his obeisances. But when Lord Shiva was there and Daksha entered that assembly, Lord Shiva was deeply in meditation about Lord Sankarsana, so he didn't get up when his father-in-law came. So, but this Daksha was so angry on Lord Shiva and he was cursing. So Shiva's followers were counter-cursing. There was a mess happened. But still, Shiva was very compassionate and he was very forgiving. So he left that place and went away. So when Sati came to know that Daksha was having a big opulent sacrifice, Sati wanted to go because all demigods' wives were nicely dressed. They went, all were going, she could see. So Sati was slowly approaching Lord Shiva and asking, "Oh Lord, please give me permission to attend the sacrifice which Daksha was conducting." But Lord Shiva patiently explaining, "Dear, you understand one thing, I was not respected there. When I am not respected there, how I can go?" She says, "It is your father-in-law's house, so you can come without invitation." But says that the situation is not like that. The proper understanding is not there. So if I go without invitation, we will be we will be ashamed. They will insult us. So better we will not go. But she is not, she's adamant. See, this adamancy we should not take up. When husband says no for anything, we should also say, okay, no. For example, okay, this holiday we are planning to go to South India, or we are planning to go to North India. So husband says we will go here. So wife also should, okay, we will go there. If some problems are there, both of us will sit and discuss the problem. This is the problem, that is the problem. So we will not go, or we will go. Sit and discuss and decide together. So here, Lord Shiva explained her, but still her affinity was very, very high. And she was adamant. She wanted to go. Then Lord Shiva said, "If you want to go, you go. I cannot come. I will not give you permission. This is not my willingness. If you go, then you will suffer. If you go to your parents' house without a husband, you will not have any respect. The people around you will definitely ask you, where is your husband? When you got married recently and go, okay, after 10 years, after 20 years, you have children, 100 times you went and came, then okay, that nobody will bother. But you just got married and you go to your parents' house Your husband is not properly invited, you go there alone, how the situation is? Calamity. Calamity will happen, a misunderstanding will happen. And who will cook for your husband? Cooking is your duty. Mother-in-law is not there. If mother-in-law is there, still, if you leave the husband with mother-in-law and go, that is not advisable. Right? Another case. What happened to Sati? We saw. She had to commit suicide. Because Daksha insulted her also. Daksha insulted her and insulted Lord Shiva. So Sati has to leave her body. In modern words, we can say, if modern girls are like that, means modern girl will divorce the husband. Yeah, that is suicidal. Divorcing is suicidal. So I arranged one lady's marriage. In that marriage, I wondered certain things. It's exactly like this. I told her she was working in abroad, and our career was very important for her. But when we get married, we should be very careful that the beginning period is very, very, very crucial. The beginning period, we should be very careful because, as I said, when we are uprooted from one place and we are placed in another place, survival is very difficult. The climatic condition, the family's mood, everything is different. We have to adapt. So this particular lady I told, she said, I have loans, I have house loan, I have car loan, I have this loan, I have my old parents. Still I insisted, then why you get married? You are now 40 years, that girl's age was 40. Still I could arrange a man of 43 years. Okay. So devotees help you to settle in life. But did you listen to the devotees' advice? No. She was kept on saying that. And then I left, but I didn't involve in that marriage at all. They got married. And I heard that they were doing well. And after 2 years or 3 years, I got a call. They didn't invite me. They didn't do anything with me. That's all. They got connected and then they left. They didn't even thank. That's good, no problem. So after 2-3 years, I got a phone call from that Mataji, and she told, Mataji, do you know one thing? Unless we had problem, we will not come to you. What a nice start of that phone call, you see. You take help from a Vaishnavi, you take help from a senior devotee. You were not thankful, you were not grateful, but you are speaking like this. I listened patiently still. Then she said, you said rightly. She was giving importance to her career. She said she will not shift herself to the husband's place. So what happened? The gap increased. The mother-in-law, I warned about the mother-in-law because by seeing people, I know. By seeing people, I know where problem will come. This is out of my experience. So I told her, mother-in-law is attached to the son very much. She may influence your life. So better, as soon as you get married, you be with your husband. Then the bond will be strong. From the day one of her marriage, she was not with her husband. And the husband got married and they are separated because she wants to fill up the loans and etc. etc. So she wanted to give importance to the career. She couldn't come. So the mother-in-law completely separated them. Then she's speaking about mother-in-law. I said this, I told you. Then I didn't intervene. I didn't intervene in the from the Prabhu's side, or I didn't enter only, because when you are so selfish, okay, I want to get married. You get married, but you don't get association or you don't get any guidance from devotees, then you suffer. You don't take up good advices. What should I say then? I know that you are not going to listen to me. And the system is, and the condition is out of control. When it is out of control, what as a third party I can do? So the beginning of married life should be protected, like how you are protecting a glass bottle. If you break the glass bottle, it will break. Glass bottle should be protected. Similarly, small plant should be protected till it becomes a big tree, till it becomes till it becomes big enough to tolerate the storm or heavy sunlight or heavy flood. So the plant in the beginning stage should be protected by fencing, by taking care. So the relationship of husband and wife in the beginning time should be protected with enough care. So this is the reason. See, this is the reason. From the beginning itself, friction happens, and then many times they break. I have seen many breaks. They don't listen. Both the parties, they don't listen. So for petty things, if you deeply analyze, only petty things, no adjustments, no tolerance. Another major problem where it comes. Okay, the lady come to the husband's place. What could be the major problem? Can anyone imagine? I have noted down what could be the problem. I have noted down the problems. Can anyone answer? Because I am only speaking. What could be some other problems?
Mataji, when the lady goes to the husband's place, right, Mataji?
Yeah. When they start their life, beginning their life, what can be? Now I was discussing self-centeredness, unrealistic expectations, adamancy, pettiness, and not listening to husband. It is incontinence. In Tamil, we can say adangamai, incontinence, that don't listen to the husband. So he decides one thing, you decide one thing, and the friction. When he decides one thing, you adjust and go ahead. Okay, so, and then
She will hide her emotions, Mataji. She'll never open up her mouth. She will hide her emotions. She will not tell her to her husband.
yeah, hiding her emotions in the positive way is okay. Tolerance, right?
And the husband is unable to understand her feelings.
Yeah, husband is unable to understand her feelings, but you know what I can say is that better you tolerate rather discuss and have a grudge. I don't like this, cry, throw things out, and then fight happens, right?
Mataji.
Mataji, I feel if in-laws, mother-in-law, father-in-law, if they are real well-wishers, that husband and wife should live together, like the new girl and her son should live together, then it becomes easy. Or else the girl has to adjust to all the people, like it will be very difficult. There will not be any guidance also. Maybe they will guide wrongly. She will get bewildered what to do, and it will be too much on her sometimes.
Yeah, that I understand, because the in-laws, they don't easily accept the daughter-in-law. That I accept it. But if the daughter-in-law is proactive, very loving, very caring, consistently, then they have to change. They have to see my daughter-in-law. They have to surrender. They have to surrender. And the husband, by seeing the wife's lovingness, he will support the wife. See, my wife is doing so much to you all. Why you are against my wife? He himself will support the wife.
Yeah, but it takes time, Mataji. At least 5 years like that. Right, Mataji?
In the sense, if you from the beginning itself, you say that I belong to you. You are my family. So I will narrate an incident what happened in my life. So I got married, but from the beginning was a nuclear family, because my husband worked. My in-laws are in South India, but I came to Gujarat. But I was surrounded by my mother-in-law's family members completely. It was like a compound, here and there, all mother-in-law's family members were there. And my mother-in-law came along with me and she gave me guidelines from the beginning in cooking, in cleaning, in arranging the things, in handling my husband, in handling the relatives. And she told, see, these are all my brother, my elder sister, my mother-in-law's elder sister, her elder sister's family, sons, daughters. And my mother-in-law's brother was next door. And she said, you have to please my brother, elder brother. He was elder brother. And their family members. Then whenever, whatever, I was not good in cooking. But what I do, I learn from that uncle's daughter-in-laws and cook nicely. From them only I used to learn. Cook nicely, give it to uncle, that uncle. I call him also uncle. So so that my mood was like I should please him because my mother-in-law is pleased. So once one relative came and she was angry with me, some without any reason. And she went back and complained about me to my mother-in-law. But this uncle, whom I took care sincerely, even said, no, Geeta is a good girl. She was so much taking care of us. She's helping us. She's assisting us. She's a very good girl. She's educated, but very humble. He recommended. My mother-in-law was so pleased. So see, we have to consistently, the love should be consistent, not duplicity. If you have duplicity, the people will identify. So mostly ladies, what do? Parents' family, in-laws family, differentiation. That's it. Anyway, they will understand. My mother-in-law, difference. See, here Shastra says that husband's family is your family. Now, husband's parents are your parents. If you don't adapt rightly in this mode, then you will be a failure. Okay? So we will pass on to other mistakes or other areas of problem. Many families, they have problem when the ladies are not good in household chores, cooking and cleaning and managing the house. When they are not expert in this area, then problem comes. Because especially in devotees, mostly we devotees, ladies are at home. Prabhus, they go for work. Sometimes both of them also work. But mostly our duty is to take care of the cleanliness and cleaning, cooking, managing, time to time, serve the husband with his clothing and packing or whatever it is. When we are expert in that area, then he will go in time to the job. My mother-in-law told, whatever happens, you don't allow him to eat outside. That time I was not a devotee. When I got married, I was not a devotee. I could have allowed him to eat in the canteen. But she told me, after full day is there for you, you sleep. So when he has to go in first shift at 6 o'clock, that time as a non-devotee means 6 o'clock is early, very early. He has to go from house by 6. That means when should I get up, take bath and come to the kitchen and cook and give? That means I have to get up at 4. So, but because mother-in-law instructed me, I did that through and continued as a devotee. So throughout my life, I never allowed my husband to eat outside. And I never left him also. So this should be, though you may not see in the beginning of your life, you may not be able to learn cooking very nicely, but we should endeavor, right? With different recipes, YouTube videos are there. Now we have devotees are there, go there, learn from them. So when the ladies are not good in cooking, that is going to create a great problem. Recently, one girl boldly saying, I don't know cooking, boldly. And that created a lot of problem in the husband's mind. So he went out and then requested another devotee to give sambar, chutney, because my wife is not cooking properly. I told her to cook only rice. You give me sambar, you give me sabji. What is this? So your house story is spreading, right? So at least young, see, 25 years or maybe 26, 27 years, Before arranging the marriage, you had so much time. Initiated devotee. This particular person is an initiated devotee. How much you have opportunity to cook in programs, in Vyasa Pujas, in this yatra, that yatra. How dare you can say that I don't know cooking and continue to not to cook properly. You should put some endeavors. But this particular candidate went to several times for beauty parlor, for preparing facial, this and that. You had time for that, but you don't have time for learning cooking properly. I was shocked. So that created problem. So that girl was not able to please her husband. Finished. This is very, very important area where you can control the family. Cooking. Right? Is it not very important role? Everybody should eat.
Mataji, I have a doubt, Mataji. I have seen entirely different cases. My own experience, my friend's experience. When we were married, not my case alone. The mother-in-law, she feels insecure to give the house responsibilities to the daughter-in-law. She won't let the daughter-in-law in the kitchen, or she won't let the daughter-in-law to serve the husband. And like that cases also there. Yeah, but we have to adjust slowly when she is ready to do that.
We have to stand with the mother-in-law to assist her. Amma, I will assist you. That should be the mood. So when my mother came to settle me in Gujarat, he was the major cook. I was just assisting.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
So the lady's main mode is kitchen, and they feel insecure if some young girl comes and conquers.
Yeah, Mataji. Yeah, that is very natural feeling.
This happens. That time, what we have to do, we have to humbly say, Amma, I am your servant. I'll cut vegetable for you. I will learn from you. You should be proactive. Amma, by the time I will wash your clothes. I'll wash the utensils. Like that.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. That time, yes, Mataji. We were all working in the office, so it was not a big. We helped a little bit. It was comfortable arrangement for mother-in-law and ourselves because we are in office. So there's not much competition. So in my case, I managed. What other thing I felt, Mataji?
Working woman, she should do? She should take the mother-in-law for shopping and give her some gifts. Then mother-in-law will be happy.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
So according to the circumstance, we should be adaptive. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
We should be adaptive. Our mood is to conquer them. Our mood is to positive, not in a cunning way, not in a cheating way. If you cheat,
Mataji, if they are cheating, what we will do, Mataji? We will get upset, right? You are going to shopping, you are getting them things. I'm generally saying, Mataji, but they are more favorable for their own daughter, or they take so much from us, but don't want to give anything for us. Like that, if that is there, then the daughter-in-law will get upset, right, Mataji? And the husbands are not able to understand. They are neutral. They cannot understand what's going on between these ladies like that. Then what to do, Mataji?
But we should consistently, as Krishna's devotee, we should consistently love them. That's all. But whether we get reciprocation or not, we are above normal ladies. See, normal ladies means I will say you fight back, you this, that, and all. Because we are devotees, we should consistently love. That too, it's mentioned in Bhagavatam. So we should not discriminate between our parents and his parents. That is instructed to you. You are above normal in a good way. So in that normal population makes all fighting, all these things. One question I will ask you: if you don't tolerate your mother-in-law, if you don't tolerate your husband, how you are going to go to Krishna? Will ask you. I have given the close relative circle. Did you love them sincerely? Unless you love here, where we are going to love Krishna? That is not there. If you love here, then where is the Krishna prema? Here we have to leave that Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moga, Madha, Macharyam. From here only, we have to, this is the training. Training.
So you are telling, Mataji, you are telling we have to love even if they are not
Whatever
proper, whatever they are, if they are not
Even
proper.
reciprocation, you love them. That's all. I do that way. Because this is
If
the
they are
maturity.
not following the 4 regulative principles, Mataji, drinking, meat eating, illicit sex, like that,
Still,
then also, still,
then
Mataji,
duty. That's all I can say. You should do your duty and love them unconditionally. Because that is what
if they are not even basic things also, they are not there, means will you not also get degraded with them, Mataji? What they can help you, Mataji? Suppose usually women,
See, for example, if the husband and family members are meat eaters, all breaking all 4 regulative principles, you are the girl alone is a devotee. So what will happen? Love them, but don't you humbly say that I follow these things. I will serve you, but for me, these things are important. I will follow, and I will serve you. I will love you. I am loving you, but don't force me to eat meat or do other things. But I will not compel you. I am still loving you. I wish that you also become devout. Like that, your mood should be like this. Even you need not speak also. You need not speak all these things, but you remain loving to them. You remain loving to them, you serve them, and then things will work out and Krishna will understand and he will change them. You will change them. I have seen some Matajis who changed their unchangeable husbands. I have seen in my own eyes. I have seen some non-devotee ladies who changed their husband, who tolerated their drunkard, moneyless, gamblers, womanizers. I have seen many ladies in my own life. They tolerated negativities in their life, but over a period, they become successful. Their children grow up and they take up the family responsibility and they take care of the mother. So they tolerate. They didn't go for divorce. They didn't fight. They tolerated. So that has power. That has respect. Over a period. It's not 1 day, 2 day drama. It's over a period. Such women are successful women. So I will give one example. I don't mention name or the who or nothing like that, right? One lady, non-devotee, she got into a businessman's wife, and she was given in dowry 100 sovereigns, 100 tolas as marriage dowry and good money, everything. But this businessman, her husband, was under his uncle, and that uncle didn't pay him anything. So this person was used to take all the jewelry of the wife. It was a joint family. Nobody know what is happening. And she also, it took a long time for her to realize what is happening. She lost all her jewelries. She didn't tell the parents. She didn't tell the parents. And she was taking care of more than 10 people in the family. She has to work. She has to cook. She has to take care. And she tolerated that also. So when the first child born, she didn't know anything what is happening. When the second child was conceived, she could understand what is happening in that house, how her husband is treated by some messy things, all these things, understood that she could understand financially they are very weak. Anytime they may come into the road, that much she could understand. Then she opened her mouth. Then she was questioning why this and that. That still she didn't leave the husband. She didn't criticize the husband. She lived with the husband throughout till today. His money, she survived with the support of the parents' family, but still she never came to the parents. Parents' family supported her in educating the children. The brothers supported her. But still, whatever the husband then realized and left that uncle's business and started going to some simple job. But whatever he used to bring, she used to live a very simple life. without telling anything. I never seen her grudging or greedy or becoming angry on others. I have never seen. She was tolerant, very tolerant. Then the children grew up and they got good job and they are now fine. So this period, she's a non-devotee, not a devotee. But what happens? Devotees. I have seen many devotee girls. No washing machine, no fridge, no this, no that, fighting. Many girls, they say, if the salary is not above 50,000, I don't want to get married. But this non-devotee lived without any modern facility, without anything, without any physical comforts. 2 children in a big city, simple life, non-devotee. Why we cannot do that? And I have seen one Mataji. Okay, now this is non-devotee example, one devotee example. That Mataji had 4 children. Husband always drinking and going with women. He was doing business and all the money he used to spend here and there. How she will run the family? She is uneducated. It was a big struggle. She survived. She got the daughters, got married, and the sons then took up the business, and now she's leading peaceful life. But imagine that period. She has to live in a very, she used to make papad and sell, I can say, that much. And her husband used to beat her like anything. Drinking and going with other women and coming and beating her. But she got initiation and her life was full of struggles. I cry when I meet her. She tells, and I used to cry for her. But I said, Mataji, you are great. You are doing devotional service. And then she studied Bhagavatam. Despite her problems, she continued chanting. She continued reading Bhagavatam. Exemplary. I tell her, Mataji, मैं तो आपका नाम क्लास में बोलती हूँ. So that's she very simple, nice, chaste lady. Definitely Krishna will recognize her service. So this is devotee. Another devotee I have seen.
Mataji, her husband also changed. This Mataji's husband. This is very great example only, Mataji.
The drunkard womanizer. He has been old and sat in a corner. No, he didn't become a devotee, but he became and
Old.
I normally, when I go to that city, I normally go and visit this Mataji. And then she told me, do you remember my husband? He was so handsome. You were also telling, but you see, this is my husband. I couldn't believe only. I forgot. This is after 20 years. I forgot him. I forgot all the things, but she remembered and shouted, see, look at my husband. He became old and sat in a corner. That's all. The children take up. Our sons, they are doing good business. And one of the son was so much like, he came to me, touched my feet and told, my mother wants to see you. Come, Mataji, come, Mataji. He pulled me and then took me to their house and I visited her. And we had nice, discussions. So that things change. But she became successful, I can say, both devotee and non-devotee ladies. I'll explain about one more devotee, Mataji. Her life was such a hell. Mother-in-law, father-in-law against her Krishna consciousness. The husband, drunkard, womanizer, take the money from the house. Mother-in-law, father-in-law had money. But he used to take the money and spend and go out somewhere and make lots of debts and come. So Mataji had to work. She was working as a teacher. There are also problem. The mother-in-law, father-in-law also big harassment. She had one daughter, but she tolerated, secretly took initiation, bared all problems, continued her life with the guidance of Guru. And then later what happened? One time she saved little money for emergencies. He got an heart attack, the husband. Then she had to take out all her savings. Like that, life went. Finally, she had this desire that one day My husband will become a devotee. One day he will welcome the devotees in the house. He used to throw the big bag and throw out in the dustbin. So she was praying that one day he will change. And before his death, he changed. And she had a house program in her house. Then he died. Mataji is now Vanaprastha and fully, like, she went into saffron dress and fully dedicated her life to, daughter got married, now peacefully doing devotional service. But she is a successful woman, right? She didn't divorce, she didn't went with other men, and she didn't grudge. I have never seen her grudging. I never see her complaining, always grudging. No such things. She tolerated, very humble in all situations, determined to do devotional service. See, I have seen some ladies, they got married to impotent men. This is another big challenge for women. Women are more lusty than men. If this part is denied, still they remain chaste, still they remain without physical happiness. I have seen some ladies like that. They don't have children because they cannot have children. I have seen two ladies, not devotees. If it is a ISKCON ladies, modern ladies, what they will do? Next day they will divorce. Next day. But I have seen in my life, they kept quiet. They didn't grudge. They didn't tell anything. They lived. See, we have examples of tolerance. In my own experience, I have seen all these examples of my relatives, my close friends, my known figures, my known devotees. I am not imagining. So such happenings are not there in our life. Our life is so peaceful. We have such a nice, good devotee husband. This is for some young girls who are fighting with nice devotee husbands, demanding this and that. Here go, there go. They are having a house. I want to have a house. In the beginning itself, how you can have a house? It will take some time. So if you desire a house will come, but over a period, right? So the materialism is a disturbance in family life. If you desire, see, definitely a grasta should have a house, but now we have a rented house. No, we are not on the street. We have a rented house. Slowly, gradually, we lead a simple life and save some money. Then only we can buy a house. I told one particular girl that, throughout my life, I lived in rented house. Now only after this many years, after 27 years, I got my own house. I never grudge. Okay, when it has to come, it will come. So why by seeing others, oh, they have a house, I also have a house, I want a house. It will take time. For that, we cannot fight. We can compare. Oh, my neighbors are having this and that. I also want to have. So this also creates problem. So we need to, when Prabhupada says simple living, high thinking, if we don't adapt the simple mind at least, okay, in due course we will get, definitely you are going to get a house of your own, but not in one day, right? One day we can get a child. It should be conceived, 9 months we have to wait, then only we can get a child. Similarly, anything material, it will take time. We need to be patient, right? So one example I wanted to definitely tell that this is a non-devotee lady. She was my classmate and an area mate also. So she got married before me because she was not educated. I was studying, so she didn't study. So her parents got her married early, and before my marriage, this happened. That time she wanted a color TV, so she was asking her husband. Husband was in military, and definitely he said, "I will get you a color TV." But one day she was so adamant. She continually asked her husband, "Get me a color TV, get me a color TV." He said, wait, I will get you. She didn't listen and then went, took some kerosene, closed the door. She wanted to act. This is not real. She didn't want to commit suicide. She wanted to threaten him. Go today and buy color TV. That was her mood. When she closed the door got locked. Sometimes it happens, no, self-lock. It gets locked so that you are inside, outside people cannot open the door. In her anger, she wanted to keep off close, but her fate made the door closed and she put kerosene on her. In anger, she put the match also. She got burnt. And she realized it was acting, not real. She didn't want to commit suicide. She wanted to threaten him. And the husband hurriedly somehow managed to take her to the hospital and kept her. And she had a beautiful young daughter. She was crying to the doctor, oh, please, doctor, please save me. Nothing happened. She died. This is just before my marriage. My mother was talking to the neighbors and things. I was about to get married, and my mother never wanted me to know this because, you know, I want my life should be peaceful. I should not get mental disturbance. So she was hiding. But somehow I come to know. But that time I had some maturity because I studied psychology and I was a little bit a matured girl. So I understood what happened. Then I said, don't worry, I will not be upset. Don't worry, I will not demand such things. I will adjust whatever the salary may be, whatever it is. So, dear devotees, what is more important to us that we have to understand? Basic things are given to devotees, right? So why we should go for all these things and end up like this? So materialism, if we desire for material things, definitely they are going to cause problem to us. If you want a big house, washing machine, fridge, all in one day, slowly you can acquire. I am not saying don't get. So one devotee came to my house and he saw washing machine in the house. Hey, Geeta Mataji is using washing machine. I have severe back problem. I cannot wash clothes. I had cesarean and so many other health complications. So after a period, not in one day, in the first day of my marriage, I was washing my own clothes for till many years. But when I became old, when I couldn't manage, that time I purchased. When my husband had enough money, he voluntarily got me this. So when such thing happened, you accept it. But not in the first day. I'm young girl. I came just yesterday. I got married. Today I want washing machine. I want fridge. I want color TV. These are all devotees' demand. For your kind information, one devotee is demanding the husband like this, and he got into shock. Our devotee girl can ask and desire such thing. Devotee should desire for chanting, Harinam, Bhagavatam reading, but it's opposite. It's opposite. And by this also arranged by me, this marriage. And when I came to know this, imagine my condition. Because when you recommend such persons, who wants color TV, who wants a washing machine, fridge, this is their mood, new house in the first day itself. Then what will you get? Such devotees. No hope. So I thought at least by recording a class, the devotee mood should not be like this, and it is dangerous for devotees if we have material desires like this. I'm not saying you don't have desires. You have gradually get the day one. How a husband simple, he may be he's having a very simple job. How in the day one, he's not into any IT company or he's earning 1 or 2 lakhs. So immediately get you this. Right? Understandingly, she got married. But by seeing ados pados, neighbors, she's demanding, oh, they are having, I want to have. That is the mood. So, my dear devotees, if we don't keep Krishna in the center of our life, if we don't keep love in the center of our life, if we don't have sacrifice in life, then life will teach us heavy lessons. heavy lessons. We have to pay the price for that. But if we want to lead a peaceful, successful, Krishna conscious life, we have to sacrifice, we have to tolerate, we have to lead a simple life. Our motive should be how I can please Krishna and how I can please my husband and husband's family. If that is your motive, you are the most chaste lady, and you will get success, right? So there are so many points in this area. I have so many things to tell. This much is for today. This much is okay, and we will have 1 or 2 sessions later, and I'll collect more points or more experiences. Then we will have one more class like this and discuss, and then we will help whoever is not following by forwarding this lecture. That's why that the devotees attending this class, I think all are better Vaishnavis than me. I have seen some of the Matajis in this group. They are fantastic Matajis. Definitely this class is not for you. This class is for those who don't follow Krishna consciousness in a proper way, for them. But still, we can use this class for helping a new couple or fighting couples. Okay. So any doubts?
Mataji, some people, when they begin Krishna conscious, I see some in this devotee circle, in my devotee circle also, some women, they serve very nicely, Mataji, at home. Even if I ask to come to their program, they will tell, okay, let me ask one word with my husband, like that. And then they are not able to participate so much because something or the other, my husband came, I have to give him juice, or my husband interfered. Like this only, all the answers are there. Like this, it's going, but they are also following this. But some other, the foreign ladies, they are very easy to come because they don't cook, they don't have much responsibility. They easily come first for peace, and they enjoy this program, and they are also chanting like them, chanting and developing. How can I take this, Mataji? This one I used to think.
See, I will say one thing. See, the foreign Matajis who don't cook, who don't take care of family members, by coming to the class, they will see you, and then they will learn this also from you. So by taking up Krishna consciousness, they will take up the role of Stri Dharma also, because which is basic. Say that they should start Krishna Prem from start loving from family members. See, all of a sudden, how you can love Krishna? When you chant the holy name, Krishna will guide you. You have to start practicing here, that love. So then they will show that Krishna Prema here, children, husband, family members, friends, devotees, the love will spread. Then they will practice Krishna Prema here, means they will start giving that love, seeing, reciprocating. So the ladies who are not doing family duties, they will learn that, which is very basic. They will learn definitely. If they learn Krishna consciousness, definitely this culture will come. Those who take up Krishna consciousness properly, they will adapt all these qualities. Okay, don't worry about them. The other kind of people who say that my husband came, my mother-in-law came, my this, my that, they may be right, or they may not be right also. They don't want to take up Krishna consciousness, so for that they are giving lame excuses. If somebody is a real seeker of truth, if somebody is really searching for advancement, they will manage and come. Maybe I feel this is lame excuses, or in due course of time, they will come. If they have genuine search, at least they are, this much is okay, they are taking care of their family. In that way, you should excuse them. Okay, when possible time you give them books, you send them the lectures. You send, okay, you are not able to come, you please attend online. Now the facility is there. You read this book. Like that, you encourage them. At least they are okay in family responsibility.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Thank you for all your guidance, Mataji. For me, myself, really, I can say because of your guidance, I'm having more peaceful family life. Very thankful to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, before I was, you are very, even before devotee, you were trying to please your mother-in-law, and you were trying, you're doing all these things. But frankly, for me, I never know, Mataji, my prescribed duty. Something, I was a good person, maybe. I don't have partiality, but I don't know these things also, Mataji, basic things that after marriage, that we are belonging to the husband's family, like that. So very thankful, Mataji, for all these classes and guidance. Not only me, Mataji, many girls are now in this situation. They feel career, job is more important. They are not able to really balance. They are all suffering only, Mataji, I can see.
No, so we need to write books, or we need to guide them through classes and other things. That's why, especially, I want to guide young married couples or young girls or ladies who are having problems in their family life. They should adapt themselves. They should know what they have to do. That's why I gave this class. So we will.
Yes, Mataji.
Vaishnavi, you boldly send this class to as many ladies as possible. You say that there is one class.
Sure, Mataji. Sure, Mataji. We have it in Zoom. Now I can also download in my computer, and you can also download. Keep it save it, Mataji. YouTube, I will try, Mataji, how to.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other doubts? Any other doubts?
Mataji,
Yeah. Yes.
how I should know that, Mataji, I am serving my husband nicely? Because sometimes the husband, they won't say that you are serving, you are not serving, or just we have to pray Krishna that I have to do more service to my husband. How I should know, Mataji? Some they won't open the, they won't
Yeah.
say.
My husband also, he never. If some mistakes happen, he will tell. Otherwise, he will keep quiet. How you can understand? For example, today you cooked nicely. You will eat more. That way I understood, because my husband never opens his mouth. And I don't expect anything. Recently, one couple came for counseling with me. And the wife is demanding the husband, when I cook something, at least to say thank you. I said, in our culture, there is no thank you. Husband and wife, we don't exchange this. Thank you is not there in our culture. So better that I never expected. But at least I expected that it is good, like that. This is normal expectation, but you be little intelligent. When you cook nicely, you will eat more. Then you can understand, oh, today is delicious. He may not speak and tell you. So see, if you want to please your husband, you put all your love, energy in the cooking. Nicely you cook, and nicely, but lovingly offer to Krishna. Then prasadam changes the whole family. The whole family is surcharged with the positivity, Krishna consciousness, peace. Your peace, that peacefulness, you cook very nice prasadam, then feed the family, then everything will be in your control. In your control. Definitely, see, food is very important thing in anyone's life. In anyone's life, food is most important thing. That in charge is you. Then imagine how you can control. So one day,
Mataji, sorry, Mataji. Continue, Mataji. I have a doubt.
You tell, no problem. Tell.
Mataji, in my case, it's not working out, Mataji. Somehow, previously, I don't know, it is big. I don't know. They were eating properly outside. Now they started eating outside, and I don't know. I feel like no changes there.
What I say is try. Consistently try. Sometimes miracle happens in life. Miraculously they will change. See, prasadam has values. You love has value. They will find the difference between your food and outside food. This has love. This has nutrition. This is very much, home food is definitely higher than the outside food. So even in Dham we have lots of prasadam stalls. But I hardly go because, you know, the cooking which I make is definitely better than anything else. Because
Yes,
I
Mataji.
carefully, I get up Mangala, I put my all energy, effort, love, affection, everything in the food, in prasadam, in making Lord Jagannath pleased. So my husband definitely feels that. So in one occasion, this happened in my life. My son, my husband, he never wants me to get tired. He will never invite anybody because he knows that now my capacity is going down. And normally I invite more people, more always prasadam, inviting devotees. Because he knows that, you know, she will fall sick, she will become tired, so he won't do that. But my son doesn't know that. When he comes in holidays, he calls whomever he likes, he calls his friends or his teachers, like that he calls. So once it was eclipse, and they said we should call devotees for prasadam. And after eclipse, we were fasting, then we have to clean the house. My son immediately came to me, Amma, you cook more for my teacher. I want to invite my teacher, at least one couple. Then I said, I am very tired. I'm fasting from morning. I chanted 64 rounds. Now I have no energy. He said, okay, I'll work. I will clean the house. I'll mop the house. You go take bath and I'll cut vegetable for you. You cook. Then he helped me. You see, this is important. Prasadam is important. He nicely managed that day. He helped me. My husband also helped. Then we invited devotees. So prasadam, cooking, it may not work today. One day it will work. Please believe in my words. Consistently try. Every time you cook, you pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, please, this prasadam, I am cooking for you with love. This maintain the love in the family. We all together pray to you as a family. You see, this you can pray. If you desire anything, like for example, you want to go to Mayapur, you want to go to Vrindavan, you will desire like that. Together, family, we should come. Together, we should do Aarti, Kirtan. Together, like that you pray. That is the real chastity. You pray together. It may not happen today, but it will happen. Your prayers will be answered.
Yes, Mataji.
Right? You put all your energy, love, prayers into cooking, and sometimes men, they don't listen, they don't hear. If something, Palni Mataji used to tell, if something is beyond your capacity, pray. Sincerely pray. Within your heart, you consistently, positively imagine that your family is happy, your family is together, you are together doing all devotional service. Like that you pray. One day it will happen. Paramatma, as Paramatma within your heart, you will, in the beginning itself, you say, hey, he's not listening. He's very arrogant. He's very angry. You rectify him. Some girl comes and tell, you rectify him. Rectifying somebody is not my duty. Adjusting is your duty. First you adjust. Okay. You found out your husband is angry, not reciprocating, not to the point of your expectation. You first adjust. What are all changes you want from him, that you make change in you. You want him to be loving, you be loving. You want him to take care of you, you take care of him. You do this first, then the reciprocation will come. So you expect it. The husband should say you thank you. You first say thank you. When he provides you with some money, groceries or what, thank you. You say first. Then definitely he will also learn. Being with a good wife, He will learn. Whatever you want from him, that you first express. Express in the sense, you do this way. Please take. Are you happy? How are you? Are you tired? Can I help you? Can I massage you? Do you want water? Like that, you reciprocate. Then the reciprocation will come. Whole day, I serve my husband. Whatever he wants, give. At end of the day, I become completely collapsed. He understands that. Then when I collapse, lay in the bed, he used to come. Want water? He brings water. That finally. So reciprocation will happen. Do not worry.
Mataji, how we should be always humble and sweetness, Mataji, because sometimes we cannot show sweetness all the time. If in some situations we become so intolerant, we lose that humbleness.
Yeah, I'll tell you. See, when you get really irritated, you know that there is no mistake of yours, and opposite party is really bad and really finding you fault. That time, you just close your eyes and control, tolerate. This Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Saishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari, we have to practice here. When he is angry, you keep quiet. Keep quiet. When see, generally in devotional practice, we say that if somebody is insulting us, we should accept it as our karma. Instead of fighting back, instead of filing a case, instead of taking a gun, mission gun, and fighting, have a communal rights, this and that, fighting in YouTube. So many things are happening, right? Small petty things. Such provoking situations will happen in house also. From office stress, he may come here. He may have some, he may be in a different mood. When as soon as he come here, you put some complaints or you present something, then he may shout. When he shouts, understand that when he is out of his control, you keep quiet. Say sorry. Though it may not be your mistake. Nothing you will lose. You will gain. You will gain when in such a situation, keeping quiet or asking for forgiveness, you will gain. The situation will be under control. Don't have any false ego with the husband and family members. Let them degrade us, no problem. No?
Okay, Mataji.
So in full Bhagavad Gita, what we learned? We have to be samadrishti. Somebody praises, somebody degrades us, we remain same. It's all for the body, not for the soul. So please tolerate. And then later he himself will come and ask for forgiveness. Oh, I shouted at you, you kept quiet, sorry. So that time, even if you are very angry, go somewhere, cry out, or take water and drink. Sometimes it happens. When that too, particularly when husband humiliates you, it is very painful. So keep quiet, go into the kitchen, or take some water and drink, or chant some rounds. Keep quiet. This is very helpful. Remaining silent will help you. Instead of speaking or patching up, better keep quiet. I have seen gug fighting. It will increase the problem. Helpful?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Anything else? Okay, it is already time. So we will see you maybe next week.